Professional football in America is a special game, a unique game. Played nowhere else on earth, it is a rare game. The men who play it make it so.
Hey, baby, let's go out there like a bunch of crazy dogs and have some fun.
Coming now, buddy. We on our horse all day long. Let's just kick that butt all day long. Pick it up. Don't stop. Pick it up. Let's go.
Get after the ball. Get to somebody.
Welcome to week 2 of This Week in Fantasy Football. I'm Mike Cardano along with Scott Engel, the king, Scott Engel. Scott, how are you this week?
I'm feeling royally good. How are you, Michael?
Are you moving your rankings up and down? People are getting crossed off. People are moving up your board.
It's always happening, in our exclusive Edge fantasy football package on rotoexperts.com. We update once a week. It's a labor of love.
All right, first up, Stevan Ridley, Shane Vereen. Who's going to be the more valuable back?
I think they're both going to be valuable. I think people, they always get infatuated with upside and sexiness. And, Shane Vereen is that guy. He's the sexy guy, especially in PPR leagues. They're going to split him out. They're going to do different things with him offensively. But
he's expected to catch a lot of passes.
He is, but... Ridley plays a different role. He's the inside runner. He's the goal line guy. And I think with all the pieces changing offensively in New England, Ridley's still going to play a big role. I think the running backs are going to become even a bigger part of the offense because they're going to need him. Just because you like Vereen doesn't mean you write off Ridley. Ridley's still going to be a very good number 2 fantasy running back. He's going to score a lot of touchdowns.
Now, Ridley only caught 6 passes last year, but it did run for 1,260 yards. So I imagine with what's happening to the receivers, he'll probably get more than 6 balls this year.
It really doesn't matter because Vereen's going to kind of fill that role. They still got Julian Edelman. They have young receivers like Kembrell Thompson and Aaron Dobson. It's Tom Brady. He's going to find somebody to throw the ball to. I think that Ridley's role is defined, and you expect something within the parameters of what you saw last year.
What I found interesting was Vereen had 8 catches last year. He didn't play that much. He averaged almost 19 yards per catch. That's a hell of an average for a running back.
Well, because he's not going to be featured as much as he's going to be featured more this year than he was last year. So naturally, you're going to see the average is going to go down. And what you have to remember with Vereen, as much as everybody likes him, if us average fantasy football players are thinking like this, or even fantasy experts, what do you think defensive coordinators are thinking? They're going to know Vereen's going to get the ball.
Yep. All right. We got a lot of emails this week, and one of the most interesting things that happened was somebody wrote in and they said that they had the first pick in their draft, and they wanted to take Calvin Johnson and then follow that up with Jimmy Graham. And they figured they wanted to lock up those 2 spots and then get a Frank Gore or a Reggie Bush if they could, later. What do you think about a strategy like that? Is that insane to try to either lock up the 1 and 2 receivers, wide receivers, or get a Jimmy Graham and make sure you get the top guy at that position?
There's not a lot of reasons why I don't agree with it. Number one, it's trying to be too cute. If you get a shot at Adrian Peterson, the best player in fantasy football, you don't pass on that. Secondly, you don't know that Jimmy Graham's going to be there with your second pick. You can't plan that. You don't know what's going to happen. Thirdly, you're going to end up with Frank Gore and Lamar Miller as your top 2 running backs. Not something I'm excited to do. Wide receivers deep. I probably wouldn't take a wide receiver until at least the 2nd round. Anybody who's going to pass on Adrian Peterson, they're just trying to be too cute.
Now, each draft is different, obviously, right? Because in the way you draft, you have to draft by what's taken. If you were somebody who was going to try to implement that type of strategy, and you took Calvin Johnson as your first pick, and you were going to take another wide receiver, who would then be your second pick? If you were going to do that.
You see, if you're drafting first overall in a 12-team league, you don't know who's going to be there because it's going to be a lot of picks until it comes back to you. Don't be too cute.
What do you expect most of the running backs to come off the board first, though, in the first round?
Yeah, but don't be too cute because you don't take Peterson, you take a wide receiver, and then you come around, in the 3rd round, your top running back's going to be Frank Gore. I'm not saying Lamar Miller or Le'Veon Bell can't hit, but you really don't want to have that. You can't predict ahead of time. People always saying, should I go running back? wide receiver. You can't have a set plan. You can have a loose shell of a plan. But to take Calvin Johnson number 1 overall, wide receiver's too deep. You get a crack at one of those very elite backs, especially everybody wants to be in a position, well, not everybody, because it's not absolute. Nothing in fantasy sports is. How many people just love to have a shot at Adrian Peterson? By far the best running back in fantasy football.
Okay. Let's move on to Ray Rice. Now, Rice is as durable as they come, and how time flies. This is going to be his 6th year already, if you can believe that or not. So he's only 26, but you know how it is with running backs. You're Larry Johnson, the best running back in the game 1 year, and then the next year you're Larry Johnson maybe trying to hold a roster spot somewhere. So what is your level of conviction in his health? He's got a lot of miles on him. He's averaged over 20 touches a game for 5 years straight. Do you think Bernard Pierce is going to creep up and get some of his touches?
I think he will, but I don't think that's a bad thing. You know, the guy has always been durable. There's no reason to expect Ray Rice to slow down at all. I'm not going to believe it until I see it. I think it's a good thing that Pierce cuts into the workload because you want to keep the number 1 guy fresh. You want to prevent him from being overworked, especially at this point in his career. I think it's a good thing that Bernard Pierce is in the picture. A lot of fantasy owners taking it as negatives because he won't get as many carries. But really, how many workhorse backs are still remaining in the NFL?
There's a lot of dual running back systems.
Yeah, a lot of dual running back systems. And the good thing about that is it keeps the main guy fresh, exposes him less to injury, keeps him from being overworked. To me, Ray Rice easily still the number 6 running back in fantasy football in my ranks on the exclusive Edge package.
There's glory in the legends of this hard muscle life, and there's poetry in each season made of sweat and strife.
It seems to me that Andrew Luck may be undervalued. I'm one of those who thinks that this is his 2nd year and he's just going to light it up. Do I have it totally wrong? Am I totally way off base that he's not going to just jump to one of the elite quarterbacks this year?
Well, he's not going to be top 5, you know.
But why couldn't he?
He's not that kind of quarterback. You know, he's not going to compare him to like an Aaron Rodgers, a Drew Brees, a Cam Newton, a Matt Ryan. He's just not going to put up those type of numbers. He's still a little bit of a work in progress. They want to work with him offensively to work on his mechanics, get the ball out quicker, etc. The protection's a little bit of an issue there. I like Andrew Luck. I don't think he's undervalued, but I don't see any reason why you would think he'd become a top 5 guy this year.
Yeah, maybe I got it wrong. That's just the way
Do you
I
have a
look at it.
legitimate reason for thinking this?
You know
or
what?
you just want to be cute and, impress the video people?
It seemed to me that they, for a rookie, they had the ball in his hands a lot more than other rookies were, and he was throwing on downs where other people weren't.
That this year.
I think he's going to throw more.
I think I need attention, but you can't. I like Luck. I think he's a top 10 guy this year, but you can't put him on a level with the guys more established quarterbacks yet and expect him to put up those type of numbers. He doesn't have the experience. I think you're just trying to draw ratings here on video.
Maybe. I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Back it up, will you?
I think. Well, all right, I'll take him, and then we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, I think he's elite. Why?
Don't bang my table.
What?
All right. Get some questions here from the readers.
Okay.
Hank from St. Petersburg, Florida, has a question for the king.
Okay. How you doing, Hank? How you doing, boy?
I see that you have Drew Brees 1 step ahead of Aaron Rodgers in your rankings. I know may be splitting hairs, but I'm likely going to be able to choose either when I get to my quarterback spot, and either one will be gone. Whichever one I take will be gone by the time I come back again. So what's your logic in choosing Brees over Rodgers? So he's going to get to his spot. Both are going to be there for him. What is your logic?
How does he know both
Brees?
are going to be there for him? No, he doesn't know.
I don't know where he's picking. He says they're both going to be.
You don't know that. You don't know that. You don't know what's going to happen ahead of you.
Assuming they're there. He's asking the king a question.
No, I'm not going to assume anything. You don't know what's going to happen ahead of you.
You make an ass out of you and Hank?
Well, you maybe, but if you're going to ask why I have Brees over Rodgers, it's 1 and 1A. The thing is, he's lost Brian Balaga. Number 1, and he's got the Jordy Nelson injury. I don't have a problem if you're going to take Rodgers number 1. I just think Brees slightly outscores him, especially with Sean Payton coming back into the mix this year and piping that offense up to its most potent force.
Okay.
I'm fine with either guy though.
Okay. All right. Well, he wanted to know.
Yeah, Rodgers will throw less interceptions, might rush for more yards. To me, it's I could really put 1 and 1A. So I take Brees just slightly ahead. You can't go wrong with either guy. But I really think you should wait on quarterback, unless it's a 2-quarterback league.
Okay. All right. Kenny in Queens. That's from your stomping grounds.
Yeah,
Isn't it? All right.
Kings from Queens.
Marshawn Lynch has a lot of mileage on him at this point. What's your level of confidence that he'll be a stud again this season?
He has a lot of mileage on it. That's news to me. The guy split carries early in his career. Marshawn Lynch is not getting old. He's shown no.
Well, he's not one of those running backs who begs out of bounds when the hit comes.
Not either. But he's, despite the fact that he's tough, he's durable. I don't see any real mileage on Marshawn Lynch. I think that's kind of making things up to be negative. Marshawn Lynch is a picture of durability.
You're a Seahawks fan, though.
This has nothing to do with it.
All right,
I'm
I'm
objective.
just pointing it out.
I'm objective.
To Kenny from Queens.
I'm objective. I don't. I hate the Miami Dolphins. I hate the Pittsburgh Steelers. But if those guys are right, I'm going to put them on my team. I don't draft with my heart. I don't analyze with my heart. Marshawn Lynch is a picture of durability and nearly guaranteed double-figure touchdown production. There's no reason to doubt the guy.
Okay. So says the king. All right, we're going to play a little game here, over-under.
Okay.
You're going to answer over-under and give me answer. You can give a little commentary and give me one word or more.
Okay.
Okay. Reggie Bush, under or over 70 pass catches?
I would say over.
Over.
There's no real number 2 receiver in Detroit.
Okay, so he's the number 2, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Peyton Manning, under, over 40 touchdowns.
Under, but still going to have a fantastic year. 40s.
What did he have last year?
A lot. 40's a lot to ask.
He was close last year.
He was close last year, but to me, my number 3 ranked quarterback. I think he's going to have a terrific year.
Okay. A guy I know you love a lot, Darren McFadden. Okay. Starts and finishes 14 games.
Under. No need for extra commentary.
Okay. Rob Gronkowski, the Gronk, going to play at least 8 games this season.
I'll say over. The guy will probably play about 10, 11 games.
Interesting. Okay. Let's stay in New England. Danny Amendola, under, over 90 catches.
Under, because he's an injury risk. But he'll do a lot of work when he's in there.
Well, where do you have him? In the 70s?
I'll say he'll catch about 75 balls.
Okay. Dwayne Bowe, under, over 1,000 yards.
Oh, definitely over 1,000 yards, especially with Alex Smith.
What was he last year?
Throwing the ball. I don't know off the top of my head, but look at the quarterbacks last year in Kansas City. They were awful. Brady Quinn's terrible.
You don't like Brady Quinn, huh?
Huh.
All right. Andre Johnson, 10 touchdowns. Under or over?
Under.
Really?
The guy's not a touchdown maker. Love him. Not quite durable enough. Doesn't score enough touchdowns. You take him for the yardage and the catches. What are you talking about? The guy's always getting mixed up. What Andre Johnson are you talking about?
Just recently, just last year, he missed a little time. But
he's always getting banged up.
Oh, come on.
Guy's always listed as questionable. His middle name is questionable.
Nobody in Seattle ever gets hurt, and everybody else is always hurt.
What are you talking about? Sidney Rice always gets hurt. Percy Harvin is hurt.
Dez Bryant, don't bang my table.
You don't want me to talk about your Jets, do you?
1,500 yards, under, over.
Slightly under, but about 40.
What do you mean slightly under?
I say slightly under. He's going to get close. But the touchdowns, he's going to probably have about 14.
You're wavering on this. He's either under or over. That's slightly under.
He's going to be under.
1496.
He's going to under, but he's still going to have a spectacular year.
All right. He wimped out on that one. Okay. All right. And here's the last one.
Jet fan, he knows a lot about wimping out.
For the Jet fans, gun to your head, you're forced to take and play for the entire season a New York Jet. Who are you taking? You have to. You're obligated. Got to take one Jet. Got to give something for the Jets fans here.
Chris Ivory. Yeah, if he stays healthy, decent fantasy production.
I think I might take Curly, but I don't know, you lose no matter how you
Can we talk IDP? Maybe one of the safeties. How about DeJuan Landry? Can we make it IGP? DeJuan Landry. There we go.
There we go, folks.
Yeah.
DeJuan Landry.
Yeah.
See you next week.
Now's the time to work and strain at a sport that tests the spirit and challenges the brain.
Come on. Let's go.
Yeah, I'd like to have 75 degrees and sunny all the time too, but that's not football.
Do you fear the force of the wind, the slash of the rain?
We're gonna play it through light and rain.
Go face them and fight them. Be savage again.